It is finally time to let your guards down. It is time for you to let your guards down and simultaneously step into your biggest leadership energy yet. I want to dive right in with this topic, and I just want to talk a little bit about the astrology. I have followed astrology for a long time. I am always hip to the astrology, and I am definitely embracing living my own chart. I have found a lot of clarity, purpose, direction, talents, focus areas, and all of that in my astrology. So if you're not into astrology like that yet, that's okay. You don't have to. But I just want to speak about something because I believe that it's important for all of us. Okay. So I'm speaking to my multicultural international women, my professional women who are feeling the call to leadership. If you're new here, my name is Joanna Fatonji, and I am a conscious leadership consultant. And I will be speaking more about myself in another video, or watch the other videos, okay? Because that's exactly what I want to talk to you about is that the South Node has just shifted into Leo. What that means is the South Node is kind of like the node axis is from your past life to who you're becoming. That is the axis of like who you've been in a past life and who you're supposed to become in this life. That's kind of the pathway of your evolution in this time. And we all have an individual south node and individual north node, but we also have a collective one. And the collective one currently has just shifted into Leo in the south node, like in the karma, in what has been in the past life, in the past. And the north node has shifted into Aquarius. It just happens to be not only the collective energy right now, but that is my personal astrology. So that kind of means that in my past life, I have been a Leo. Leo's all about courage, maybe about royalty. It's about having a big heart. It's about self-centeredness as well. It's like very like this me, look at me, I'm shining. Nothing is good or bad necessarily, but we're also shifting into more of this collective energy, which is the Aquarian age, where the North Node is now, right now. And that means it is all about the I, me, in the collective. Like, who am I and how can I serve the collective? Okay, so that is the energy, the topic, the subject for all of us right now. And I feel so uniquely called to speak on that because, as I said, it's my personal unique astrology. Okay, so again, what does that mean? I started the video with finally what I feel, because again, it is embodied for me. It has been my personal transformation up until here. Was that maybe you watched another video? If not, like 10 years ago, I had a vision, like literally, I had an idea come to me, and I named it I Am Movement. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The I Am Movement, my vision, my prophecy was all about the I Am, the awakened individual inside the movement, inside the collective, right? It's the movement of many different awakened individuals. That's how I saw the I Am Movement. Let me draw it onto my cute whiteboard here, okay? So I Am Movement. Okay, so I hope you can see this. Just for a lack of a better word, I use this. The I Am is more of the Leo energy. As I said, it's more self-centered, which there's nothing wrong about that. This is more of the Leo energy, the past life, more of the selfishness, but also, and more of the selfishness, also more of the status, like the status symbol, the beauty, the accolades, the star appeal, the look at me, right? Look at me, look at me. Um, yeah, all of the masks as well, the masks, the masquerade, and yeah, the status symbols, right? Like I will speak about that now as well because I prepared a whole topic for today, but I wanted to start with this one just to create an overall awareness for all of us. And again, as I said, this is exactly my personal life's astrology. So from the South Node in Leo to the North Node in Aquarius. This is where we all are collectively. So, no matter what your personal South Node is or North Node, we are all in this energy together and it collectively impacts all of us. So, why I'm so excited is because I personally know how exhausting it can be to always lead with your status symbols, right? Even though I would say I am quite privileged and I have worked a lot, I have worked hard to gain all of my credentials. I'm just going to name a few, just maybe to give voice to it or to let you know that I know what I'm speaking about. But for me, for a long time, this I am energy was all about I had to be a star. Actually, I deeply identify with this word. But it's also about proving, right? Studying, getting the degrees, getting the certifications, getting the credentials, getting maybe even the pictures with stars and other big business people, the beauty, the designer clothes, the material things that signal power, that signal I am somebody who needs to be respected, right? I know you know what I'm speaking about, right? Oh my God, it's so hot, I'm sweating. But this is the old energy, but now it's more about not necessarily letting this go because you see this, it's still the I am, but now the I am is how can I bring all of who I am and everything that I have accomplished, I have learned, I have mastered to the people that I'm here to serve. And that's exactly my challenge as well. And I know I'm guilty of that. So I will transform in real time in front of your eyes is that I realize that you probably do not need all of the credentials that I bring, right? It's really more about this energy that I transmit in terms of can I trust her in working with her, listening to her? Does she know what she's talking about or is she just pretending? Right? I think this is more the era where we are going to listen and just feel if somebody feels like an authority to us instead of somebody bragging in your face like I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, right? Because people will feel if I'm the right one to work with. You get it? All right. So the same thing is true for you. No matter who you are, no matter how many accolades you have and expertise and degrees and blah 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 blah, right? It's blah 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. And it's not about discrediting what you have accomplished, but people want to feel you. People actually want to know and feel if you are embodying everything you've learned, right? If you have a specific worldview that can actually help your client or your customer, whatever you want to call the people that you help, support, empower, they want to know if you are the right person. And let's be real, if we look for people, we also feel more. Like, that's definitely me. You can talk all your talk, But if I feel that there is no resonance and you're not addressing my pain point, then probably we're not going to get together. So, my guess here for you and your pain point is that you already are a woman that has a lot of credentials and accolades. And the deeper wound is more about self worth, about who you truly are, besides all of those accolades. Okay. And I want to give an explanation from the four levels of awareness and how we are moving together. And I am moving through that with you. So stay tuned. Okay. Good. So, I want to speak to you about the four levels of awareness, the four levels of consciousness, and that is evolutionary growth, right? Because we as humans, we grow through consciousness, right? It's not necessarily that we um, evolve into a new species in terms of looking different, right? From quote unquote from the ape to the human. This is probably not going to happen like that, right? There's not a new species that is going to come out of us, but we can transform into a higher level of being, a different life, a different energy, a different consciousness, a different level, as people like to say, level up, right? A different level. And this is through the four levels of consciousness. So, the first level of consciousness is the why me, is the why me consciousness. Then we have the by me, by me. Then we have the through me. And then we have the as me. Okay, so first level of consciousness, why me, is more of a victim mindset, right? It's more of a life is happening to me, right? Oh my God, like I'm a victim of circumstances. Life is happening to me. Things like my parents did. I wrote a few things down here. My parents did that. My upbringing, right? My past, maybe even my whatever the circumstances that you grew up in, the not the privilege, right? It's not the privilege, it's more focusing on lack, right? More focusing on lack, on limitation, in the victim story, why me, oh my God, and blaming the circumstances until, and we've all been there, I have been there too, and sometimes like we fall from one level of consciousness to the next. It's never necessarily static. Okay, so I think it's very important to know that, because we can get a little arrogant. I have definitely been there too, and think like, oh, I'm above the average consciousness, right? But sometimes we get triggered back into the lowest consciousness. So the why me consciousness is lack, limitation, victimhood, right? And this is more of this, oh my God, life is happening to me. I can't change nothing. This is also a level of helplessness, right? I always like to say this is also a level of an immature consciousness, right? Because at some point we were literally helpless as children, right? So then we come into the by me consciousness. The by me consciousness, I also like to say, it's more of the masculine. It's more of the masculine consciousness, which is the doing. This is where we get to know our body, our personal power, more of the ego, right? This is also more of the ego consciousness, like also this year, the me. I could also equate that to another hierarchy level of Maslow, the Maslow pyramid. All of these things are actually also here in my book. I wrote a book. It's called Healing into Femininity, and I'm going to talk about that in terms of this hierarchy, but I'm also speaking about this in my book, the different levels of consciousness, also according to the Maslow pyramid of self actualization. But this is another way of seeing the levels of consciousness. Okay, so the by me consciousness is also the getting all of the accolades, right? This is also important. It's not negative. It's this getting the degrees, getting the training, getting the credentials, getting the certifications, getting into the prestigious companies. I've done all of that, right? So literally done all of the masculine proving, right? Proving to myself and the world that I'm intelligent, right? I have a bachelor's degree in international business. I went into corporate, first into finance, then into sales, working for large international companies, right? All of that proving that I am somebody. I can be in this tough world, right? Getting then also already branching into the career, into my soul's career, because I had an inkling. So I knew that I was going to be part of the I am movement, and I am going to be a very important part, my I am, my awakening, my best self, how I am going to serve my collective. And hopefully that's you. I got all still in this phase. I got certified as a transformational life and leadership coach. I became a holistic nutritionist. I co-founded a cafe with my mom. I started my coaching business. I then went on to get some other PR, became Miss Germany, or let's say top 20 in the Miss Germany contest, right? And that's exactly what I'm speaking about. This is more of the Leo frequency. This I am beautiful, I am powerful, I can do this, I can do that, I am smart, I am ambitious. Again, all of that is good and necessary, no shade. But at one point, and this is many times, that's the era, or that is the consciousness level where we also burn out. This is many times also the level of isolation, right? We do all of the work because we have these big goals and dreams, and we collect the status symbols. Maybe this is where we buy property and we have our houses and we have our whatever status symbols, right? You buy a few designer things, and that's fine. That's fine. This is like the, let's say, kind of like the highest level of this pushing energy until maybe you burn out, or until you ask yourself, like, what is actually the meaning of this? Like, does it actually fulfill me? Is this something, is it connected to something higher? And I also like to say, like, this is the threshold of the survival. It is important, right? Because we have to get to a level of mastery, also a level of mastery, maybe also of your body, of your structures, of your discipline, of your routine. You have to get to a level of mastery of the masculine energy, of the doing, also of the material world. And this is the next level. And this is also where my work comes in. So you have to ask yourself, where are you on that ladder? And again, I'm going to reach back to my book. Healing into Femininity is all about breaking through to the next level, right? Because for the past 10 years, I have kind of been between back and forth, maybe of all of them. As I said, like, sometimes we also fall back to the victim stage. I have definitely been there too. And then also ultimate levels of bliss. But I'm going to get to that. So, my book really is my personal story from here, from the why me, from my personal history, my family life, really working through all of that. That's why it's also called Healing into Femininity, like from the roots up, really healing the foundation to break through also only the doing and the pretending and being hard and being masculine and being like proving and I'm great and I'm smart and all of that. Oh my god, at one point we get tired. Don't we get tired? Oh my god, we get tired. And that is when you really get tired. This is what happens when you burn out. You get tired, like you're so exhausted and you're like, oh god, I can't do this no more. That is when you hit the ceiling of this level. And then it goes into the higher realm of the feminine energy. The feminine the feminine energy through me, through surrender. This is when you get into more of a maybe spiritual life, right? Where you learn to trust more into life. And as I said, it's about healing. It's also about healing like these wounds here, the more of the masculine wounds, and then maybe also the lack wounds of the childhood and so on. And to really surrender into more of, and this is where the soul work and also the astrology that I started with ties in, right? Where you really find like, who am I really? Who am I really? What is my purpose? What am I here for? Which is also the North Node, right? Your evolutionary path. What am I here for? I want to, especially as a woman, I want to surrender more. I want to create more beauty. I want to create more love, more ease. I have natural gifts, I have natural talents, and I want to be more connected, right? This is also where you have this heart chakra opening, right? Because until here, it's more of survival, and this is where thriving starts. Thriving, wanting to be part of a community, wanting to really connect and be around people who choose you for you. And that's where the mask needs to fall, as I said. If you want to work with me, and I know that I am attracting people through this YouTube channel that want to work with me inside my containers, into my sanctuary or one on one. And if you feel drawn to me, it's not because I have an international business degree or because I have invested over 100,000 euros into my all of my personal development and transformation and certifications, even though that's good to know. And I think it's good to know, right? Because I've done my work. You want to be in safe hands. But also for me, like for me and for you, I don't want to be chosen because of that. I want you to feel that you feel safe with a real one, right? That you feel like, oh, I think she really, like, she's not only speaking about it because she's learned it somewhere, she has been through it. And I feel like I can appreciate and I can value her voice and her opinion and also her as a person, right? And this is where we are coming to, like, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? It's really about your humanity, your authenticity. And when you feel like it's, you don't have to status signal all the time. You don't have to do that. People are now going to choose you because you are real and they resonate with you, and that's why they value your expertise. Understood? Okay, let me check. Yes. So if there is another thing, this is also more of a doing energy. This is also what I wrote down. This is more of a doing energy, and this is more of a being. This is also where we are now speaking about getting paid to exist, right? I always speak about that. Getting paid to exist is when you are here. And that's why I think it's important. You will only get paid to exist. That's what I believe, right? If you have been through something, if you have already some kind of mastery level in whatever, right? As I said, this by me frequency, the masculine frequency, is more of the doing. Also, maybe you have mastered your body, maybe you have mastered your relationship to your body. That doesn't mean that you have to have a six-pack. Maybe you do, maybe you're super fit, but maybe you also have just mastered your relationship to your body and you just come from a place of love and surrender and true self-love and vitality, right? This is what you can teach to people. Maybe you have mastered, as I said, some like real tangible things, some whatever talent, maybe some expertise of every area in life. You have mastered something through doing it. You've kind of put in your 10,000 hours here, right? That's some kind of expertise. That's what you've done here. And when we are now getting into the love, right? That's what I'm all about. If you check out my website or other content of me, it's about doing what you love, right? Getting paid to exist. It's about being you. It's about surrendering more to trust, to life, because this is when faith starts. Faith based, purpose driven leadership starts in this level, right? When you're done with the burnout, when you're done with survival, when you're learning to calibrate your nervous system, this is all in the feminine energy, which can be men and women, right? It's both. I literally spoke about that with my brother this weekend because it is for everybody. Okay. But this is more of the feminine energy. This is where the thriving begins. This is where the being begins. This is where the authentic you, your soul, your humanity gets to come out and play and be of service, right? Getting paid to exist. Now you no longer have to prove. Okay, I'm repeating myself, but now you no longer have to hardly like prove. No, this is the energy of the heart. Is more of the love, is the heart coherence, is more of a resonance, right? You do not have to um, the people, the work that is being done is through you being authentic, being open, opening your heart. That is the true work that is being done on this level. And this is where true bliss and joy and fulfillment and your soul's purpose comes in. And that's exactly where I come in. As I said, I wrote a book about that. And this is also the original method. The original method is really a framework on a kind of a fast track on how to get into your soul's print, but also decode your own story, see the gems in your story, whether it is your personal family story, but also your expertise. This is how I could say this is more of your childhood, and this is more of your becoming, your adolescence and your 20s to mid 30s, like your professional life, what you've like done to fight through to this level where you're at, right? We decode and we really excavate all of the gems from there, and then we continue on to build from this level, right? Of the feminine, of the heart centered, of the personal brand, right? Where it's about you. Good. I think that's important to know. And this is, as I said, also a very spiritual frequency. This is where more of the spiritual self comes through, right? More of a faith based practice, more of a trust, more of breathing in that good as prana, right? Breathing in the ethers, being connected to everything. Still, the direction we're heading towards is to become of service with our individuated self to the collective. And that is the last level of the awareness level, is really truly is more of like as me, is enlightenment or flow. It's really about flow, right? And I always like to say that you have to, that's how I see it. In order to create flow, so we don't want to discard anything. I am a very sustainable person with everything. Like, I take very good care of my material things. I like to empty out all of my food before I buy new, right? I'm the one who scrapes out the last bit of food from whatever I eat. And not because I'm in a lack frequency, but I'm more of in a appreciation energy. Why I'm saying that is because I am all about you using these areas of your life, your expertise and your experiences, and to build a doorway into your world from that, right? So when you are currently, like, maybe you want to be a coach, a consultant, you want to be an artist, a leader, a thought leader, whatever it is, like, you want to impart knowledge and wisdom and your expertise onto the collective that you are serving, I highly suggest that you build a doorway into your world, and it has to be built, right? You can only be in flow, and in your heart energy and in your feminine when you automate, when you build like your business structure. This is also what I help you with in the original method and beyond. It's really about building a structure. Again, you have to kind of build the door in the in the masculine, and then people can come to you through also paying you, right? The door is your YouTube channel, the door is your visibility, the door is the door into your world, but the door is for people to come to you and to go through your tangible offers that you have, whether it is an online program or meeting you, talking to you one on one, accessing you, which is still going to have some level of structure. That's what I'm wanting to say, right? You have to have a structure, even if it's just the process that you take people through, so they can, because people will not pay you just because you're you. People will pay you because they want a result, okay? Because they also want a result. And that's another thing that I wrote down I want to speak about. I do believe, because I always speak about leaders, I speak about you are a leader, I am a leader. And I think one of the most important things that are very critical is to really check, number one, not only the credentials of the person, right? The Leo energy, the bravado, the big bag energy, the signs and the symbols and the car and the designer, which is, again, as I said, it's good, but also the values. As I just said, I'm a very like very sustainable person. I am a very I'm a very integrous person. Like, I have integrity. I try to stand by my word as best as possible. I keep my promises. I can say all of that, but I am a person who has solid principles and values. And I think it's very important. That is a personal brand. People need to know who you truly are. What are your principles? What are your values? What is your character? That is the new frequency. That is the new currency. People want to trust you, not because you look fly, because that is crumbling apart. We are seeing celebrity culture die because just looking good, that was also a Leo energy. Just looking good, shining is no longer enough. Like, people are not going to trust you only because you work some glamour magic on them, okay? All right, gamma magic is kind of like creating illusions. Yeah. So we do not want to create illusions. We actually want to be about what we say we are about. Yeah. So why I'm saying that again, that is why people want to come into your world, and they want to pay you for your point of view and your expertise and how you can get them from A to B. And again, what I want to share is, where are you leading your people, right? Where are you leading your people? If you say you are a leader, what are you leading your people to? And I can tell you, what I'm leading you to is to become a sovereign, self actualized woman who knows her gifts and operates in her divine purpose. That's it. I help you to operate in your I am divine purpose frequency by sharing your gifts, your talents, your expertise, your transformation with the collective, and also getting paid to exist, because your existence is also a transformation or a result or an experience. You get it? Yes. So you don't have to wonder where I'm leading you. This is where I'm leading you. You have to become a sovereign person, sovereign woman in your holistic holistic identity. And that is the last one. The as me frequency, the as me level of awareness is literally integrating the masculine and the feminine. And that is also for me like a bit of the yin and yang symbol. I love my whiteboard because it always gets a little messy, but I hope you can follow me, right? These are roots, right? The roots that are leading to the divine connection, the doorway through your masculine structures that you're creating through your online membership or whatever structure. We can talk about that in a one-on-one. But then you become whole, right? It's not only about is the feminine energy better than the masculine? No, we need both. If you want to help people to reach a certain goal, you have to have structure. We do not abandon structure, right? We create structure to create flow. That's literally what it is, right? Our You can think about your feminine essence of more of water, right? Your feminine energy is more water energy, and your masculine energy is more of the earth energy, more of the structure giving energy, more of the heart edges energy, right? And we need, in order to let water flow, we need pipes, right? So imagine whatever you have to offer is the water, but in order to distribute it to your ideal client, you have to build a system of pipes. And that's exactly what we use the energy, the masculine energy for, to create the pipes, to create the structure, to deliver the whatever it is that you have to offer to your people. But you are going to be more in your feminine energy once you create structures that are more or less automated. This is the whole game I'm giving to you right now. And the ultimate frequency you want to reside in is the as me frequency, which is literally a flow state in terms of you receive an inspiration or you do something, right, because you already have the structures in place, and then you receive something, an idea, and then you create, like, and it's very dynamic. That is the word, becoming a dynamic personality. That is truly what this is, dynamic, right? This means you're a shapeshifter. You can switch and change and shapeshift whenever you need to, right? You can step into leadership mode. Today I saw an interview with Emma Grede, right? And I like Emma Grede a lot, and I believe that she is actually a representation of exactly that. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a businesswoman. And that is exactly where I'm leading my women to as well. You can be both. You can be both because we are heading towards being a dynamic individual. That is, you have masculine energy and you have feminine energy, and you are in your feminine energy, and if you have to, you're going to step into your masculine energy, which just means that you have boundaries, you have structures, you have no's, you have systems, you have automations, you have you have a system, you have structure. That is literally what it means. And you can shift and switch from more of a flow state, more of a creative and receptive energy, to a masculine being energy, right? And the best, the ultimate manifestation is to be both. It's to be a dynamic, shape-shifting, flexible individual who can step into this mode and this mode. All right. This is where I am leading you. This is where I am leading my clients while I am continuing to climb my ladder. All right. I think that's it. Let me look at my notes. Yeah. So, and the next thing here really is that, again, it's about, and that's it. I truly believe that business is a divine representation of your potential, right? Making a lot of money, right, is part of your divine mission. And I have so many books on that. As I told you, I have studied with a master coach mentor for 10 years now, and I have a whole wisdom library, especially on the spiritual principles behind success, behind financial success as well. This is also the whole school of thought of Napoleon Hill, and this stream of consciousness. And this is also what I believe. I truly believe that abundance, material abundance, money, comes when you have mastered this different levels of you, which is part of your spiritual evolution, right? Your human evolution from the masculine, as I said, to more of a surrender, more of a receptive, more of God. What is my higher purpose in this life? And then you find out, maybe with a mentor like me, to integrate all of that. You build systems, you build structures to then operate in and out of your feminine and your masculine. And through your individualized genius, your mastery, your purpose, you are a business because you realize that you have so much to offer, and your offering is a gift to the masses, to the collective, to humanity, to your audience, to your clientele, to your customers, to your industry. You get it? That is the I am movement. And this is true abundance, right? This is true abundance. And I believe that this is the purpose of our lives, is to excavate all our individual experiences, our expertise, our mastery, right? To build a system. As I say in my brand, I help you build a personal brand based on your story, based on your story up until now, then to build offers that sell, right? And then to continue to create holistic leadership, because your life is going to be a testimony of your purpose and how you are creating value for the collective, for your clients, and get richly and generously compensated for what it is that you offer. This is where the transaction happens. And as you know me, if you have heard me speak before, I always like to say selling a serving. This is part of divine leadership, selling a serving. And I have been in corporate sales, so sales is one of my expertise. I have a whole sales academy inside my membership as well. So if that's interesting to you, and you want to speak with me, and as I said in the beginning of the video, I am actually very happy to finally let my guards down, because I want to connect to the people who resonate with me as a person, as a soul, as a being. I want to work with people that I find enjoyable to work with, and I want to be the choice of somebody who finds it enjoyable to get coached and mentored and supported by me, right? We no longer have to hide behind the Leo, behind the mask, behind of only the I am so great, I have accomplished this. Yes, cool, good, that's good. But who are you beneath that? What is your heart, right? What is your heart, as I said? And that's really where we are. What is your feminine energy? What is your heart energy, right? And that comes a lot with healing, right? Also with the healing into femininity, which is letting your guards down, just like this symbol of my book, the flower. It's about letting your guards down so your energy can blossom, and that is a representation for your heart energy. And this is where we are meeting now. This is the new timeline. This is the new frequency where it's really going to be about connecting heart to heart. Expertise, yes, that's a given, that needs to be a given. But then also the next level is enjoyable business, integrity based business, purpose based business, heart centered business, all of that soul led business, right? Where you find your tribe through resonance, and then, yeah, share it with the collective. All right. So I think that's really everything I wanted to say today. It's a opening of me for you, and also showing you that I want to help you get to the next level. And I have been through it myself before. So I know what I'm speaking about, and I know where we are heading. So where I'm leading you is also not a surprise. Okay. I'm leading you towards operating in your divine purpose, and everything that is meant for you will follow from there. All right. So if you feel called to work with me, you find all of the links in the description box down below. Contact me, book your aligned level up consultation call, and I'm looking forward to connect with you. And as I always like to say, is that you are a force of nature, and I want to see you act like it. And acting like it is taking action. Okay? Don't just be entertained. It is time for you too to step on the scene. So take action, and let's do this work. All right? Until then, see you in the next one. Bye bye.